We believe we were wrong about our claim regarding the strongest version of Godzilla. Earlier, we proposed a video of one version of Godzilla that stood head and shoulders above the rest in terms of strength, power, and ferocity. Since releasing that video though, it has been brought to our attention that this claim has a challenger, so stick with us, Heralds of the Titans, and let's hash out what we truly believe to be the strongest version of Godzilla. And if you believe that neither of these iterations are deserving of that title, be sure to let us know other depictions that we should cover below. Right now, we're going to be comparing and contrasting Godzilla Earth and Shin Godzilla, two of the most powerful iterations of the character. The respective origins of these two titans are quite similar, and in both timelines, they're depicted as the natural extension of evolution, and some of the most powerful organisms, if not the most powerful organism on the planet. In the case of Godzilla Earth, he is believed to actually be plant-based in origin, and he acts as the protector of the planet and nature. Shin Godzilla has had several forms that we'll be diving into today though, starting with Form 3. But if you'd like a full breakdown on all of Godzilla's forms, be sure to check out our video on that as well. But we'll be sure to hit on the relevant details for this video. With Shin, it is truly his third form that has him morph into the Godzilla that we know. Shin began as an aquatic organism that couldn't survive on land, but as he grew and mutated due to his encounter with radioactive waste, Shin was eventually able to endure the surface world. His second form was the intermediary between sea and earth, and in his third version, he is fully acclimated to the land. If we are comparing the third and fourth forms of Shin to Earth, then Godzilla Earth still seems to have a massive advantage. At this point in the timeline of Shin, his form is not as malleable and flexible as it would eventually become, but Godzilla Earth is able to rapidly grow and evolve. Earth has demonstrated the ability to reproduce through immediate and unaided cell division, and this means that Godzilla can produce offspring incredibly quickly. Even if humanity or Shin or another monster ever does figure out how to defeat him, he will be able to survive via an air. And it is also believed that this is evidence of his origins being plant-based, since some types of plants are oftentimes able to grow and reproduce in similar ways, depending of course on the plant in question. But beyond an air, we also know that Earth has an additional ability. The additional mass that he generates doesn't necessarily have to be sentient, but can be added on to Godzilla Earth's existing form. This allows him to grow on his own and add much more density to his pre-existing body. What this does is helps him grow even stronger and augment his strength extremely quickly. Godzilla Earth can create protective plating, additional muscle mass, and sturdier bases if his opponent ends up being particularly difficult. While Shin Godzilla is certainly formidable, he isn't able to do anything like this until his fifth form. This is where we get into some ambiguity, because it was just at this point where Shin in the series was not renewed by Toho, so Shin's fifth form was only alluded to, whereas Forms 6 through 8 don't have any movies or books or comics to their name. What we do have though is the Art of Shin Godzilla concept, which showcases concept art, script notations, and plans for the future of these forms. Whether or not these are considered to be canon to the character though is heavily debated, and we will leave the decision up to you. Shin's fourth form though, however, did give us a glimpse into his fifth form, which could sprout sentient humanoid minions from his tail. These Manzillas, as they're commonly known, would have become heralds of Godzilla, swarming his opponents and acting on his sole command. It's unclear if these Manzillas would have been able to collectively swarm Godzilla Earth, but right now we are left to assess Godzilla Earth's defense force and offensive capabilities. Earth shows off some of the most powerful atomic breath abilities that we've seen from any iterations of Godzilla, and one of his most impressive feats is when he became aware of an asteroid that was imminently approaching Earth. The size and mass of the asteroid was comparable to that of the moon, and Godzilla Earth was able to create a blast of atomic breath that could not only escape the Earth's atmosphere, but destroyed this asteroid. It has been speculated that this breath took around 5 years to charge to completion, indicating that this is the upper limit of what he's able to do on 5 years' notice. A blast of this caliber may not be able to blow the Earth completely apart, but it would be enough to thoroughly irreparably destroy the planet Earth. Shin Godzilla's later forms, though, would have been able to not only invade other planets and destroy them as he continued to evolve, but completely corrode them away. Again referencing the art book, it illustrates that Shin's sixth form bears little to no resemblance at all to Godzilla, and is more akin to an amorphous, cancerous blob of corrosive cells. This version of Godzilla would have been able to eventually consume entire worlds by replicating unreasonably quickly. And as this version morphs into the world's most aggressive sentient Play-Doh, we are wondering exactly what Godzilla Earth may be able to do to stop him. Later, Shin would break the bounds of Earth and drift into space, where he would continue consuming any planet, moon, or asteroid in its path, until nothing remained but Godzilla. We adore Godzilla Earth, but his ability to fight the universe is a bit underdeveloped. Godzilla Earth would have his best chance to catch Shin very early in his stages, destroying him before he reaches his 6th, 7th, or 8th form. According to the original plan, we do know how Shin would have originally died, which was the literal heat death of the universe. But what is heat death? As we know, the universe is ever expanding, but the expansion consumes energy. Stars have a natural life cycle and will eventually die out when their energy is expended, leading to the deaths of all planets and their gravitational pull. The heat death of the universe is when there is no energy left to consume and use to create. After the last star dies, all that will remain are the cold, lifeless husks of dust that used to be thriving worlds, and only here, billions upon billions of years in the future, would Shin eventually die. Right now, the tide of this hypothetical fight relies entirely on how soon Godzilla Earth is able to intercept Shin Godzilla. If he is able to battle this monstrosity early enough in his lifespan, then not only does he stand a fighting chance, but if he gets him in an early enough form, then he absolutely stomps him, with extremely low difficulty. If Shin, though, is allowed to evolve and reaches forms 4 and 5, then the fight begins to be a bit more ambiguous. What's important about this, though, is that Shin Godzilla doesn't need to win. He just needs to survive long enough to evolve, if you consider his 6th, 7th, and 8th forms canon. If he can stay alive until forms 6, 7, and 8 take shape, then the only thing capable of stopping Shin is literally the end of time and the universe itself. As for which specific forms could beat Godzilla Earth, and which specific forms Godzilla Earth can conquer, we will leave it up to you. But we believe that Godzilla Earth is a massive contender against Shin until likely his 7th and his 8th form, with forms 5 and 6 giving him a little bit of a hard time, and 6 especially giving him a hard time. But we believe it's still possible for Earth to conquer due to his sheer size and his absolutely astounding defensive capabilities. If you consider the forms to be canon, though, eventually, Shin will find a way to defeat Godzilla Earth and tear the universe apart. But now I want to hear your own thoughts. Who do you think would eventually win a battle, Godzilla Earth or Shin? This is absolutely not your typical versus explanation and analysis, as both of them are subject to evolution that we haven't seen in other Godzillas, as they evolve extremely rapidly. So a ton about this hypothetical battle will actually have relevance on where each Godzilla's lifespan currently lies. But now, Heralds of the Titans, what are your thoughts? And who would win, Shin or Earth? As always, thank you so much for visiting the channel today, and I hope you have an absolutely great one.